Hi, we are on lesson 96 and my screen is a little skittywampus today because I want to show you an example of average and what it means to average something. So, in your book it has beautiful pictures of money stacked up. I would ask you to refer to that because it's much prettier than my little sad little drawings, but for all intents and purposes, I hope you get the point. We're talking about average today, and before we begin, let's just take care right off the bat the vocabulary for this lesson. The word average. We've all heard that, like, I'm just average, or this is the average test score, or his batting average was this. This is what, when we say average, this is a way to describe data using one number. Using one number. Now, to have data, all this data into one number takes a little bit of thought and practice. So let me show you an example of finding an average. Here we have this pile of coins. We have 3 piles. Use your imagination on this one. The first pile has 8 coins. The second pile has 3 coins. And our last pile has 4 coins. Now, if we were to add these piles all up, we get a total of 15 coins. The next thing we need to do is to ask what's the average for each pile. And another way to say that is, if we were to take these coins and try and divide them out, put them in equal amounts as best we could, what would our average be? Well, we take 15 and we divide it into 3 groups. 15 divided by 3, and look what we get. We get 5 in each group. So while the original piles, we have an 8, 3, and 4 in each pile, the average is about 5 in each pile. And you can find the average by following the steps. First off, we do is add. We added all of these up. In this situation, we did 8 plus 3 plus 4, and it gives us 15. Then the second step is to divide. Find out how many there would be in each group if all the groups were even. And we have 15, and we wanted it broken into 3 groups, and that gives us our average. So let's do this next example. 4 vans carried the teams to the soccer field. There were 5 players in the first van, 4 players in the second van, 3 players in the third van, and 8 players in the fourth van. What was the average number of players per van? Now, are they wanting to know the exact number of players in each van? No, because we already have the exact number. But we want to know about how many could we put in each, how many, about an average of how many we could put in the vans. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If not, rewind and look it over again. So our first step is to add. We have 5 players in the first van, 4 players in the second van, 3 players in the third van, 8 players in the fourth van. So let's add these up. I know that 3 plus 8 is 11. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 5 is 10. So I know that my number is going to be 20 when I add these all up. Now, if we were to break these up into even groups, and how many groups would we need to break that up into? Well, how many groups did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So our next step is to divide. So we have 20, and we divide it up into 4 groups or 4 vans. And so we see, we know our math facts is, so there were averaging 5 was the average. 5 players. We averaged 5 players in each van. Now, one thing that can happen, you can see this, another place that we use averages is on test scores. If I have a lot of kids that score really high and a few kids that score low, I can find what the average grade was for our whole class. I add up their grades and then I divide it by the number of students. Some kids will get 90, some kids will get 70. I add them all up and then it gives me an idea of where my students are, what the average grade was. Some kids will be above average, some kids will be below average, but it gives me an idea of where, as a whole, my class is how they're doing grade-wise. This concept is really important. I'd like you to pause and jump into the practice set. I'm going to pause here and I'm going to do it, and then I want you to press start again and do the rest of the practice set with me. Do the practice set first and then go along with me, correct it as we go. Okay, we're back. We're on the practice set. I've drawn this out. First off, I messed up and did B first. What was I thinking? But oh well. Let's begin with letter A. We have 3 classrooms. There's 24 kids, 26 kids, and 28 kids in each classroom. What is the average class size? So our first step, step 1, we add up the whole group. So we say 24 plus 26 plus 28. And we get the whole group. So we know that 4 plus 6 is 10. Love that math fact. Plus 8 is 18. Ooh, this is duh. Let's make that look like an 8. And then we bring our 1 up. 2, 4, 6 plus 1 is 7. So we have 78. That's step 1 right here. Step 2 is we take this number, 78, that we've added, and we divide it into the number of groups that we want to find the average of. In this situation, we have 3 classrooms. So we divide 78 by 3. 7 can be divided by 3 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. We subtract. We have 1. Now we bring down the 8. 18 divided by 3 can be divided by 3 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Guys, this is a happy ending. I love when things end all nice and even. So 26 kids is the average class size. Average class size. Okay, our next thing to tackle is a girl was messing around with some books. They were in 2 stacks. There were 17 books on one stack, 18 books on the other. She wanted them even. Now, you could visually move each stack until they were even, but we're going to do the steps for determining average. So we begin by adding up the 2 groups. 17 plus 14. And that we carry our 1. That gives us 31. And I've got to make sure that I've got this right. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on, guys. We're going to stop right here. I did not get this right because I'm like, this does not feel right. We are going to erase this. Our data is incorrect. Mrs. Da did not do this correctly. So here we go. Our data for this is, we're correcting this. I wrote 14 because I was like, oh, this is not going to be an even stack. So our group is 17 and 14. Whew. I was a little worried there because I was like, wait, not 17 and 14, 17 and 11. Mrs. Da. Guys, I'm just going to scratch this out. We're going to write 11. Here we go. So we add the two groups. Only make sure that you know that you have the right numbers. This is how we avoid making big messes. 7 plus 1 is 8. We are not we're not using this. We're not paying attention to that. And we just add 1, and 1 is 28. So if we were to take this stack, so 28 and all the books, and divide them up into 2 equal groups, we get, let's see, nope, we don't get, we get 14. Guys, I am doing so well tonight. 2, 0, pull down our 8, we get 14 books. And this is why you need to see Mrs. Da mess up every now and then. So the average for each stack would be 14 books. Finally, whew, here we go. Spencer, these are his scores that he's had on the first 3 games that he's played. 85, 85, 100. Now, if Spencer had 85, 85, and 85, guess what his average score would be? It would be 85, because these are all nice. They're all the same, but he scored 100. So let's find out what his average is now that he's bumped it up to 100. So we say 85 plus 85 plus 100. Let's add these all up. 0, carry, 16, 17, carry, and we have 270. Now we take 270 and we divide it by the 3 games that he's had. And we know that 3 can go into 27 9 times. We pull down our 0. So his 90 is Spencer's average score. And there you have it. Thanks for sticking with me. Please work at being accurate. Mrs. Da is working on this too. And I wish you well on the homework.